My guest today is the founder of Larder Soaps and Scents, a family-run business born from passion and lived experience. Rooted in sustainability and integrity, every product is made with deep intention. The ingredients are ethically sourced, the packaging is environmentally conscious, and each batch is handcrafted to ensure the highest quality. These aren't just soaps. They're luxurious, long-lasting skincare essentials made for real people with real sensitivities. On December 5th, 2022, my guest was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. And even after receiving that life-altering news, her commitment to the community she had built around her products didn't waver. She adapted her business model, stayed connected to those who rely on her, and continued building her brand. As she shares in this episode, that purpose gave her something to hold on to, and it helped carry her through one of the hardest chapters of her life. In our conversation, we talk about why not all natural products are created equal, how she took her power back after being completely failed by the medical system, and why she's fiercely passionate about educating others on the benefits of low tox living. Enjoy the episode. Hello, beautiful humans. Welcome back to another episode of the Skin I'm In podcast. I'm your host, Chanel, and this is the space where real stories meet radical self-discovery. Here, you'll find peace through clarity, purpose through inspiration, and the permission to be your authentic self through the stories of men and women who've walked the path before us. If this show moves you, hit that like button, share it with someone you care about, or subscribe so you never miss an episode. That small but powerful act helps the show grow and brings in the guest you most want to hear from. In return, my promise to you is that I'll keep showing up with the raw, the real, and the conversations that crack us wide open, reminding us we're not alone. So, let's dive in and find the light in the shadows together. Welcome to the Skin I'm In podcast, Deb. It's so great to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's very exciting.
Yeah, look, I'm really interested in finding out how your journey started in terms of, becoming an entrepreneur, developing products that are low tox. So you create through your business low tox soap and scents. So tell me, how did that start for you? What's the journey behind that story?
Well, there's a long history behind the start of the business before the business even began. So, from my teenage years, from about the age of about, I think, maybe 13, 14, I started to have skin issues. So I suffered from eczema, dermatitis, and rosacea on my face mainly. And over the years, I saw many dermatologists, many doctors who prescribed countless steroid creams and countless medications. And that went on for quite a number of years. I remember when I was in high school, there were a number of days where I'd be in tears and I'd say to my mum, I just can't go to school today looking like this. I just can't get out of the house, literally, and crying myself to sleep for a very long time because of my skin, the way that it looked, the way that it made me feel. And not being able to hide it as well, being on my face. And that went on for a lot of years. And even into my early adulthood, there were some times where I'd go through good periods and sometimes where it wasn't good at all. And then I met my husband now in 2009, and his mum was very much into skincare and making her own creations. So she'd been making soap for a number of years since my husband was a child because he had very sensitive skin. So that's where she learned how to make soap because it was impossible to find good quality natural products that wasn't reacting to his skin. So when I met him, she was kind of on a mission to help me to improve my skin because it was affecting me. When you have bad skin, it affects you on a daily basis. So it all started with the soaps, which she had already started making. And then it was moisturizers. So we got rid of all the moisturizers that I was using, the toners, the cleansers, all of that stuff. And we just made our nice, simple, fragrant-free skin cream, and that helped. And then it sort of went on from there. We started exploring more about the foods, ingredients in foods, ingredients in products, and it just escalated from there more and more and more. The more that we learned, the more that we used ourselves in our home, and for our family. And then in 2014, we had our first son, and I was adamant I'm not using chemicals on him. Like I thought we were already pretty good around the home and on our skin and everything. But then when he was born, it was like, that's it. This is a big change, because here we have created this perfect little bundle of joy that was perfect. And I didn't want to do anything to, damage him or harm him or hurt him. So it was really, okay, we use less of these products, or we use more of this, or what else can we do? But the real stepping stone came when our second son was born in 2017. It was difficult for me to go back to work. I needed an outlet for myself rather than just being a mum, because being a mum is not an easy job, as we all know that. But I needed something for myself. So I tried to go back to work, but at the time my husband was doing shift work. So it was very challenging juggling two young kids and both of us working. So we were making soap already, and I had a girlfriend of mine that was part of our mother's group, and her two kids were very similar ages to my two. And her kids both had very bad eczema, and she was going through a lot of the liquid sensitive washes at the time. And she said, Deb, it's ridiculous. They just, pump the stuff out of the bottle. It costs a fortune, and it lasts, hardly any time. So I gave her a couple of our bars of soap and said, look, try this, see how you go. Maybe it'll help, maybe it won't, but it won't hurt to try. And about a week later, she came back to me. She goes, oh my God, this stuff is the best. I've noticed a change in the kids' skin already in just a week. So that's when we started to think, well, if we could help one person with her two beautiful little ones, how many more other people can we help? And I was a little bit, is it going to work? Is it not going to work? Like, I've never run a business before. We've never had a business in our family. I don't know what's involved in running a business. But then my husband just said, you know what have we got to lose? Let's just give it a go and see what happens. And that's exactly what we did. And I think the hardest part was choosing the business name, because it's there forever. And I didn't want something that was going to be like Deb's Soaps or Deb's this, because what happens if one day I wasn't doing it anymore, or it was great and I sold it, then it just wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't be the perfect fit. So, there's a lot of brainstorming with how the business name would come up and everything. And it's actually my mother-in-law who chose the name, which is Lada. So LADA actually stands for all the initials in our family's name. So L is our youngest son, Liam. A is Adam, who is our oldest son. D is Deb, so that's me, and Andrew, my husband. So when I say that we're a family business, I literally mean in all aspects of the business, we are a family business, from the name to how the products get created, with the kids in mind, sensitive skin, to helping pack market boxes, to helping drop orders off at the post office or deliver them to customers, or helping at markets with customer interactions, all of that sort of stuff. So it really is, in true essence, a family business, because we're all involved in it. And it's just something that was started off as let's see how it goes, to something that is so much bigger and is growing so much that I'm just so proud of it. And it just gives me so much purpose to be able to help everyone as well.
I anticipate when you first started doing the research and finding out about the toxins in everything, you would have been really confronted. Is there anything that really came up for you at the beginning of your journey, or when you had your first child, that you thought, oh my God, what is in our food and our products?
I think I'm still constantly like that. I think the other day, actually, one of my sons has got a sore on his finger, and there was, he loves Band-Aids. He's one of those kids that, you get the smallest cut, you put a Band-Aid on it. My oldest is the opposite. It's like, don't even put that thing anywhere near me. I don't even want to see it. But there was a video that I was watching the other day that it was telling us about how Band-Aids contained forever chemicals, and that when you put a Band-Aid on an open wound, because it's exposed to your blood, basically, it just gets absorbed into your bloodstream. And I already knew that, but I didn't realize how bad it was. So then I saved that video and I showed my younger son, who is 8. So he's still a child. He doesn't really get it, but it's enough for him to hear somebody else saying it. And I think that really was one of the things that I was like, wow, we've grown up just knowing if you've got a cut, you put a Band-Aid on it, not realizing what it's made of, what chemicals are in that little strip, that you wouldn't even think that it would have so many harmful chemicals. And I think that blew me away the other day. I was just like, how is this even possible? And I think it's constantly a learning thing, because we all know that, you know, red food dye is bad in any of the food stuff. So any of the red lollies and the chips and the, you know, cheesels, all of that stuff. We all know the red and orange food colorings are some of the worst that you can consume. But then we don't think about things like Band-Aids. You know, it just doesn't even cross our mind. It's like, you've got a cut. Okay, yeah, where's the Band-Aid? And you've got all the fancy kids designs, you know, the Peppa Pig ones to make it fun for kids and stuff. And we think, well, what are we doing? It's really, really scary.
Yeah, that just shocked me. I'm like, I'd never thought of that. And one of my favorite things is there's one called Second Skin, and it literally like feels like skin. And I love those for things like, you know, I mean, not that I use them very much now, but if you ever have a blister or something like that,
Mm.
and because it hurts, the blister, like, you know, and you want something that's really protective on your ankle or whatever it is that where the blister is. And now I'm like, oh my God, I need to put all of these things in the bin. I never thought about it. But you know what even shocks me the most, Deb? I don't even understand why these chemicals need to be in the products. Like, as if there's not a different solution. Oh my
Because it's
goodness.
all about money making. We all know that. It's about
Yeah.
how to reduce the cost for the big companies out there, so that when people buy it, they make the maximum profit. And that's across all industries, whether it's in the beauty industry, whether it's the food industry, whether it's the cleaning. Everyone is looking for shortcuts. When you're a big company, they're all looking for shortcuts with, how can I increase my my profit? At the end of the day, if we get sick, we're nobody to them. They don't care. You know, all they care is that you've spent the money to buy the product of theirs, and that's it. What happens after that is no concern. How many times have people complained and written letters to these big companies because of X, Y, and Z, and you get maybe, if you're lucky, a $20 gift card or something to go back and spend at Coles, or they'll send you a replacement product. I mean, I don't even know if they do that anymore, but you know, it's about money making. But for small business, it couldn't be any further from the truth. Well, for me anyway, that's the way that we feel.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you even just said that, because, yeah, we are nobody to them, but then it feeds into the next industry, which is, if a product affects you, then you need to go see the doctor to go get medicines and then there's the insurance, and then there's that, they all feed off each other. All that bottom line stuff is just, it hurts my heart, because there are just shareholders sitting in a boardroom and just being like, we can just get that covered under our insurance or whatever it is to pay whoever out that's having a little whinge, and they'll shush up quickly.
Well, that's
Yeah.
exactly right. And it's a conversation that I was having with customers just on the weekend at the markets that I did, that these big companies, they have the massive, massive marketing budgets to be able to put these wonderfully fancy commercials on the TV and the radio, and people buy into that because they have a connection, they have a feeling, it resonates with them, whatever it is, whether it's about the chocolate or, you know, the tissues. We've all got, you know, Kleenex. We all know Kleenex, and we all say Cadbury, but it's chocolate and it's tissues, but it's the name. We all know, when you say Kleenex, we all know we're talking about tissues, don't we? When we say Cadbury, we all know that we're talking about chocolate, you know. So it's the marketing, it's the very, very clever marketing that these big companies are able to do. They're able to spend so that they engage with customers, they engage with all their target audience, and then those people are the ones that go to the supermarket, I don't have that marketing budget to be able to create these big, beautiful, fancy commercials that are going to grab people's attention, and then for them to say, oh, wow, I've got to go and check out that next time I'm at this shop, or go and jump on the website. It's not that easy for us to share the information and to educate people on ingredients and what's good for us and what's not good for us. It's probably my biggest challenge.
So you now educate people as well on low tox living. Where did that come from?
I think I get a lot of questions from customers about why this oil or why this product, or why should I swap from my liquid shampoo to shampoo bars. And changing from what we've grown up knowing, picking up that shampoo bottle from the shelf in the supermarket, to then saying, hey, how about trying this shampoo bar? It's very overwhelming for people. Like, when people are starting to understand more now about toxic ingredients and checking ingredients in products, it's fantastic, right? But it's still very overwhelming when you think, okay, well, where do I start? What changes do I make, and how do I know that this is going to be the right product for me? So the education part of it is so important. It's even more important than the product itself in some respects, because people just don't understand how dangerous and how damaging some of the ingredients in the products that you do find on your supermarket shelf are for us. And when people say to me, oh, you just make soap, in the beginning, it used to affect me. It used to make me feel like, oh, but it's not just soap. What am I doing here? Am I actually doing something that's good? Like, people aren't seeing the value in this. And that's where I was at the beginning. But now, after learning how people are starting to think, the explanation is so much more important. So when they pick up that bar of soap and they smell it and they look at it and they say, oh, that looks really pretty, it's thank you. And this is why it's so much better for you. The soaps that are made, and you find it in the supermarket, are made by machines. They're not handmade. They're not made by people. It's all just mass produced by machines. So they don't care about the good oils that are used in there. They don't care about the lather and the moisturizing element. How many times have you stepped out of the shower and thought, oh, my skin feels really dry, like, where is my moisturizer so that I can put that on and feel better again? And that's where people, when you start having those conversations, people are like, oh yeah, I do get that really dry feeling from this soap or this body wash. And it's like, oh yeah, but using handmade soap made with good quality oils and good quality ingredients is not going to let you feel that way when you step out of the shower. You're going to feel like, wow, I feel nice now. I feel clean. I don't need that moisturizer. So these big companies that sell you these mass produced bars of soap that are no good for us, because there's no moisturizing element in there. There's nothing nurturing, caring in that bar. It's just simply there to strip the oils off your skin, which is then why you feel really dry and irritated. And then you've got to buy their moisturizer to put on your skin to feel nice again. And that's where the money making is. They strip your skin, all the beautiful oils that we're meant to have on our skin, off with that soap, and then you put on their moisturizer that they're then going to sell you for. Then therefore you feel, oh, I feel good now. So the education part of it is just so important. Even, for example, washing powder. You will not find soap makers that make washing powder, and in ours is real soap. And that's what I say. When we make our washing powder, you are washing your clothes with real soap. There is no soap in any of the washing powders you find on the supermarket shelves. They're made up of fillers, synthetic ingredients to make the bubbles, all the synthetic fragrance to make you feel like, oh, my clothes smell nice, so they must be clean. There is no ingredients listed on your washing powder. If anyone ever checks, go and have a look. There is no ingredients listed on your washing powder. But by law, I need to list all of my ingredients in my washing powder. So it doesn't make sense if there's nothing wrong with what's in the washing powder that you find on your supermarket shelves, why are the ingredients not listed? Or why do some people turn around and say, I can't use X, Y, and Z brand, I must use this brand because they react or they get sensitive or they come out in a rash to this particular brand. So they use the more sensitive brands thinking that they're actually doing better for themselves. So it's just the education part of it is just so important because there's so much that we don't know about what is in our products.
Hey folks, quick gut check. Are you actually nourishing your insides or just surviving on lattes and get through the week vibes? I'm here to tell you it doesn't have to be that way. There is a way to boost your energy, cleanse your system, and kick that bloat to the curb. Enter Supercharged Food, a proud supporter of this show and a beautiful heart-led business founded by a clinical nutritionist who believes that real healing starts in the gut. They offer powerful nutritionist-developed supplements like fulvicumic drops, collagen-boosting bundles, and their best-selling Love Your Gut Synbiotic, packed with prebiotics, probiotics, and digestive enzymes your microbiome will love. Plus, their books and recipes will change the way you look at health from the inside out. Hit the link in the show notes and use the code TheSkinI'mIn to get 10% off every order. Alrighty, let's get back to the show. That is so true. And so many times I have seen things that say, visit our website for a list of ingredients or whatever. Who really is going to go to the website and have a list? Unless you're really committed and you've got a skin condition and whatever. If it's not affecting you, you don't realize what it's actually doing to you at a cellular level, what's getting into your bloodstream. It's funny, the other day I was walking through the aisle where all the beauty products are, and I see all these women staring at all these creams, and I honestly just wanted to take them by their hands and be like, walk away right now. None of these creams are going to save your wrinkles, lady, like nothing. So I would imagine that you get a lot of people asking you about anti-aging things and
Yeah. I I'm the same as you. When I walk down that beauty aisle, sometimes it's just as a shortcut to get to the registers or whatever. I literally just want to grab them or give them a business card and say, "Hey, here's something better for you. It's going to be cheaper, it's going to last you longer, and you're going to get better results out of it." And there's so many times that I just have to stop myself from saying something because I can't. It's not I'm not there to fix everyone. So it's just, yeah, it can be very challenging walking through the supermarket and seeing what people are looking at and picking up. But yeah, it's really it's really quite funny that you just mentioned that. A lot of people will ask me for, does this help with wrinkles and anti-aging or collagen? And yeah, our product that we formulated, our skin therapy, is really good to help with softening lines and wrinkles. Obviously, I don't claim that we fix anything because I can't. That is just, everyone's skin is going to be different, but the more that we use natural ingredients, good quality natural ingredients on our skin, the better it is going to be for us when it comes to aging and how our skin ages, whether it with lines, wrinkles, the redness. All of that is really important with what you put on your skin. And again, what's really confusing for customers is that when they go to the supermarket, they'll pick up a jar of whatever cream and it'll say it'll do this, this, and this, or it'll say natural. And the scary thing is that a lot of times only one ingredient needs to be natural, or a certain percentage of it needs to be natural for them to be able to put the label of natural on the bottle, serum, whatever it is. And therefore consumers then think, oh, this is natural, this is going to be great, okay, that's my best option to purchase. And not only that, they're a lot more expensive because they're natural. But when you dive down and actually investigate the ingredients in there, which is not really hard, you just turn it over and you just read it. If you don't understand the words that are on there, you say, okay, well, what is that? And there's so many amazing apps now, especially food apps, that you can scan the barcode and it'll tell you exactly, this chemical's no good in there, this is no good in there, it's got too much of this, this, and this, or yes, this is a great product, or these are your alternatives. So really, again, it goes back to education with the customers, what is in your products and what is going to be suitable for you and your skin and your family.
Yeah, it's really confronting. And as someone who's been down this rabbit hole for a really long time, I've been that natural person. I won't take Panadols. I won't, do all the things for a really long time. And yet, like you, every single day, like, I mean, to Band-Aids, you've ruined Band-Aids for me today. Like every
I'm
single day.
sorry.
Every single day so there's something that surprises me that I'm like, like you can do everything possible and then they're spraying the skies. I mean, I've installed a full house filtration system, reverse osmosis system. So when I shower, not only do my eyes no longer burn and my skin no longer dries up, but I have less hair falling out. And I remember the property that I was at before, I used to say like, oh my God, I can smell gas. Can you not smell gas in the shower? And now I don't. And so until you've tried something, which is the hard part, right? Because we're
Yeah.
sold these lies because of the big marketing budgets to believe that something's going to work really, really well. And we don't trust natural products, which is ridiculous to me. It's ridiculous. It's the same thing with like frequency healing versus Wi-Fi,
But you're absolutely right. I was having a conversation with a friend the other day, and she had bought a shampoo bar from a different brand, and she was completely let down by that product. She had a reaction to it. It was a well-known brand, but she had a reaction to it. She contacted the company just as a form of feedback to let them know. And they were so dismissive of her and basically said, well, sorry, bad luck. And this is the major difference between big companies and small companies is that, you're just a number to them. Your feedback, your purchase, it doesn't really matter because then somebody else will just come along and buy it. Whereas small business is not like that. So my next question to her was, does that affect your thinking and whether or not you would try another shampoo bar in the future, for example, mine or somebody else's? And she goes, 100%, Deb. She goes, I don't want to because of the way that she was treated by this other company, the response that they gave her, the way that they made her feel, and her whole experience with the product. She was like, yeah, I'm not too keen. I'm not in a hurry to try shampoo bars again. And the same goes with soap bars. Some people love handmade soap and they will not use anything else because they know the benefit of it. But then again, handmade soap between one soap maker and another soap maker is completely different because of the way that it's made, the oils that are used, the fragrance that's used, the way that it's cared for and made is completely different from one to another. And I've used a lot of other soap makers soaps too because I like to celebrate and support other soap makers, and some of them have been absolutely luxurious and amazing to use, and others have just been a bit, but we're all on our own journey. We all have to find what works for us. And some people will swear by one particular brand and someone will swear by someone else's. And that's all okay because we have to do what works for us. But just knowing what we're doing and being informed about the choices that we're making and the products that we're using and the foods we're consuming is just so important.
So here you are running this business, Low Tox, you're making soaps, you're making scents, you're expanding into other areas of skincare, and then you get a diagnosis that changes your life. Walk me through what happened.
It was such a challenging time in my life, and it still is very raw to talk about it, and emotionally, um, it's not something that you just ever get over, I don't think. But I was 39 at the time. There was a stressful family argument that resulted in me coming down with a migraine, which I'd never experienced before in my life. I'd never, ever had a migraine. I'd suffered from headaches. I mean, we all have a headache every now and then, but this was different. This was just debilitating, where I was in bed and I didn't even realize it was a migraine to start with because I'd never had one. But the light was affecting my eyes. I just needed to rest, to sleep, to lie down, and I thought, oh, okay, this will pass, just take some Panadol. And then the migraine went after about 3 days, and then what followed was a consistent, persistent headache that wouldn't really ease up with any pain medication. And I'm like you. I don't like taking painkillers. My husband will always say to me, "Deb, you wait too long until you take something. You suffer too much, and then you're too far before, you know." Um, but I was really heavily having to rely on the ibuprofen and stronger Panadine Fort, and I just thought, okay, this will pass. And the headaches turned to headaches with constant neck pain. So both sides of my neck, it almost felt like I had a 20-kilo bowling ball stuck on my neck, and it was incredibly difficult to keep my head upright for extended periods of time. So I was constantly having to lie down. By the afternoon, 4 p.m., I was like, done. I'm done for the day. I really just need to lie down and just. So when this didn't get better, I went to the GP and I said, "Look, this is what's happening." I feared the worst with the neck pain. I just thought, "My God, I've got a brain tumor or a tumor around my spine, or something horrific is happening here, because this is extremely out of the ordinary for me to be feeling." So I went to the doctor, a GP that I'd had for about 12 years. So she saw me through both my pregnancies and everything. And she listened to me. She goes, "Look, maybe you just need some stronger painkillers. She prescribed me Valium, and she prescribed me some other oxycodone medications, and said to me, just take these, Deb. You'll be fine. You're getting old. It's okay. Just take the painkillers." And so initially, I mean, I left that consultation with her feeling let down, disappointed, not heard. But I thought, well, I've got nothing to lose. I'll just try this. I was desperate for relief, so desperate. So I was taking the Valium, and it wasn't really working. It wasn't like, the relief may have been temporary, but it wasn't fixing any problems. But I knew in my gut something wasn't right. So I went to a different doctor that I had. And as I was explaining to him my symptoms and what I wanted, he was writing out the MRI script for me straight away. And he's like, "Yep, let's just get it investigated. We don't know what it is, so let's just try and get some answers. It's probably nothing, but let's look." And that's exactly what I needed. And I booked in for the MRI. And I got the results back from the doctor, who said to me, "Yep, everything looks good. You've got nothing wrong with your neck. You've got nothing wrong with your spine. You've got beautiful spacing. Everything's great. But you've got this mass on the front of your neck here in your thyroid area that has come up, and it's been flagged then. And they measured it, and it was 3 centimeters long." And when I got that news, my stomach, like, it really sank. I knew deep down something was wrong. I just knew it. But it had nothing to do with my headaches. It had nothing to do with my neck pain. So then the next step was, okay, let's get it biopsied, because now we want to know, what is this thing? Could just be a nodule. Thyroid nodules are incredibly popular, or common, I should say, that most people have them. Most people have small ones. I've had friends that one of them had a 10-centimeter nodule that was just a nodule in her thyroid, but she could feel that. I had no pain. I had no difficulty swallowing or anything like that. So then the next step was, let's get a biopsy. We did that in my thyroid here and in a few of my lymph nodes on the side of my neck. And then that's when I got the phone call from a different doctor, who said to me, "Look, your biopsies come back that it's a high chance that it's cancer." And my stomach just dropped. I was just like, well, what do I do now? Like, what's next? And it was a feeling of shock, a feeling of worry and panic. Um, and I was so scared, but it was also a relief to find something that was what, but it still had nothing to do with my headaches and my neck pain, but it was still some sort of answer to move forward with. Now that I'd asked for a test and she denied me that test, I'm glad that I went for that test, because now this is what it's found. So let's work on. So, yeah, to be told that it was cancer, and I'd just turned 40. I'd turned 40 about a week before. So I was just in utter disbelief and shock. And I just thought, am I going to die? am I going to be okay? Like, I don't know what. And I just burst into tears after I hung up the phone. And I just thought, well, what now? You get the diagnosis of cancer and you think the worst. So it was a shock, and it's just something that you never get over.
So then what happened? There would have been thoughts of, what am I going to do with my business? There would have been, okay, I'm assuming with who you say you are, I'm thinking you would have thought, well, where in my life can I clean up a little bit more? Because the first thing that I would do if I found out I have cancer is, oh my God, what's in my life that's toxic? What is in my house, in my life? What am I surrounded with that I need to clear out? So where did you go from there? What were the things that you started thinking? I anticipate there was a period of real sadness and grief and thinking the worst. And then you took action. So what was that?
Absolutely. It was, well, the first thought I had was, okay, what do I need to do to get this out of me? Some people will name their cancer. I know quite a few people who have actually given their cancer a name and said, I'm getting Freddie out of me, or how do I, they give it. And I never took ownership of it, right? It was just something that, okay, I've been given this diagnosis. Now it needs to get out. What do I need to do to, to hurry up and get surgery to get it out? I wasn't thinking about anything else. My concern was, am I going to die? Am I going to be here for my kids, and my husband? Uh, and what do I need to do? It wasn't. I mean, we always have eaten really clean. We're not. We make a lot of our own produce and food, and we always do home cooking. So there, it wasn't I've got to stop buying all of this processed stuff from the supermarket or anything like that. It wasn't a huge thing of, okay, well, where do I need to quickly change things to make a difference? For me, it was more so about, okay, how do I continue to look after my body the best way that I can, to keep exercising, to keep eating well, to keep my mental health in a way that was not going to make me fall into depression. And believe me, it wasn't easy. It was really hard, and I am so grateful for my amazing husband who stood by me the whole time. Every appointment, he was with me. Every single scan, every single thing that I had to do, he was there. And I believe that without him, I would not have been able to get through it the way that I did. With the business, it was a bit of a panic because I thought, well, this is our income. We do this as a full-time job. What's going to happen? But because we'd been working in the business, the two of us, for quite a while, we were doing everything together anyway. So whether it was making soaps or the serums or anything like that, we were doing it together. The markets I did on my own, but all the preparation for everything else, it was together. But there was still a period of, okay, well, I'm going to have surgery to get this out. So then therefore there's going to be a recovery period. So we just worked our butts off before the surgery, making sure that we had plenty of stock so that he didn't need to worry about, okay, we're going to have to quickly replenish this. We had lots and lots of stock to go, so that when orders did come in from stockists and customers, that we were prepared, we weren't stressed out or anything. And then I could use the time after the surgery to recover properly, to look after myself in the way that I needed to, and not have the stress about the business. I was still able to send the emails, I was still able to make the phone calls, still go visit stockists and that sort of stuff, which is what I needed. And I think that also played a big part in helping with my recovery, is that I wasn't sitting around moping, thinking, why has this happened to me? How is this? This is not fair. How do I get through this? I had something to keep me occupied and keep me busy so that I could work through. I had a purpose. I could work through things at my own pace, which helped with my mental clarity, with my mindset, and still doing the work on that even to this day. Because it's cancer's not something you just have, you get it out and then you get over it. It's part of who you are, it's part of your story, and being able to talk about it with you and with others is part of the healing journey as well.
Do you want to age backwards, get better sleep, improve your memory, boost your immune function, and improve your circulation? Then the healing properties of red light therapy is your answer. When I noticed my skin, energy, and mood lacking luster, I spent countless hours researching the best solutions that would help me get my health back on track, and that's when I found EMR Tech. This science-backed, non-invasive treatment uses red and near-infrared light to activate your body's natural healing processes, supporting your body in boosting circulation, reducing inflammation, and assisting in the production of collagen. The results? Wow! Smoother skin, better sleep, less pain in the joints, more energy, and a serious glow up from the inside out. It's a powerful year-round solution that helps reset the negative effects of spending too much time indoors, on screens, and not getting enough sleep. I'm obsessed with my FireWave Pro panel, and it has become my go-to for deep cellular level healing. I just pop it on for 20 minutes every night before bed to wind down, reset, and recharge. It has made a world of difference to the quality of sleep I get each night and how my face shows up in the morning. To get yourself a glow up, head on over to www.emr-tech, that's tek.com/the skin I'm in, and use code the skin I'm in for 30% off every order. I've popped the link and code in the show notes to make your life that little bit easier. Alrighty, let's get back to the show, folks. Out of all of this though, a serum was born. Talk to me about the serum.
Yeah, this is something that I'm incredibly grateful for. And it's something that has come out of such a traumatic period of my life. This has been the biggest blessing. And the story behind the skin therapy is that because of the surgery, I knew I was going to have a big scar. My cancer had spread from my thyroid to the lymph nodes in the side of my neck here. So they sliced me from my ear through to the middle of my neck. So I was left with a 13 centimeter scar. They advised me that it was going to be a bigger one than just a normal single cut before the surgery. So talking with my mother-in-law about what we can do to help with my recovery, we formulated a serum in this little beautiful bottle here. I always have one with me. We formulated some oils together, the most powerful, beautiful natural oils that was given to us by Mother Nature. We combined them and thought, okay, let's see what's going to happen. We didn't know if it was going to work or not. We didn't know how well it was going to work, but with our knowledge and experience from all the oils that we've been working with for the last 25 years, we formulated this product hoping that it would help, and it was beautiful to use. It went on really lovely, absorbed really well, and I applied it probably 3 to 4 times a day for the first 3 months. Being on my neck, it's always visible. You can't cover it. I mean, you can't wear scarves in the middle of summer. So, at the end of the day, I accepted that I was going to have a scar, and I was okay with that. I just wanted to do whatever I could to help myself to heal so that it would heal the best that it could. And then that's how the skin therapy came about. I would share my story with my followers on my social media pages, and I'd talk about it and show the results. And, people were interested. People genuinely cared if I was okay and how I was going. So I just felt that this was part of the business, part of my journey. People want to know about you, not just about the pretty soap. So then after a while, people could see the transformation that was happening. I shared that my surgeon, after I saw him after 6 weeks, said to me, "My God, Deb, what are you using? I've never seen something heal so well. Like, this is incredible. You look great." And I thought, wow, okay, well, this obviously is working probably better than I thought it did, because when you've got this scar on you, all you see is the lumps and bumps and the redness, and you feel that it's still lumpy underneath and whatever. You don't actually realize how much you've improved. And we did the weekly photo thing to see how it went over time. But then people started asking me, "Deb, when can I buy this? I need this serum for my scar," or, whatever it was. And got me thinking, I'm like, oh, there's a lot of scar serums out there. There's a lot of serums. Are people really going to be interested in it? And again, my husband said to me, "What have you got to lose?" let's make some and see what happens, and being able to share my story vulnerably, honestly, openly, to not only raise awareness for thyroid cancer, it sparked so much interest and genuine want and need for this product. And then when we launched it, it just went nuts. It really did. And people with scars that more than 10 years old from serious surgeries like open heart surgery, mastectomies, shoulder reconstructions, knee reconstructions, hip reconstructions. I mean, they're not little surgeries, they're big surgeries, have started using it and have experienced transformational results. And I think, this happened to me for a reason, because this beautiful product has been born from what I went through. And now I'm able to help so many more people with this beautiful serum, and the results that they've had and the feedback that I get regularly is just incredible. And it's just so validating that I've done the right thing, that we're doing the right thing, and that's my driving force, is just to keep helping people with all these beautiful products.
I think what I love most about this is that you are so being guided to have met your husband in the first place so that you could be put in touch with his mum, to then start creating all of these soaps and scents, to move into household products, to then go through what is a horrible experience. But then again, your husband so came through, supported you through that. You've built something even greater now. And I hear so much resilience and commitment in what you're saying. So I'd love to know what it has been for you in terms of who you are as a woman, to learn more about, what you're capable of as a business owner, as a wife, as a mother, as someone who's survived thyroid cancer, as someone who's building a business. What have you learned about yourself?
So much. And I will continue to keep learning. I think the most important thing is backing yourself and believing in yourself, because there's always going to be outside noise for people telling you, what are you doing? You're not going to make money out of this. It's just soap. You can buy it from the supermarket for a couple of dollars. No one's going to do this. Going through all of this, it's taught me so much about myself. And it's funny because you say, the resilience and all of that, and I hear you and I believe you, and it's true. But I don't feel that. I just feel like I've got such passion and love for what I do, and to show my kids what's possible when you believe, you know that a little bit of hard work and determination, but most importantly, love and belief in what you do, you just keep going. You can't not, because you just want to keep giving and doing more. And sometimes you get nothing back from people, but sometimes you meet the most amazing people with the most incredible stories. And yes, I've gone through thyroid cancer, and thank goodness I'm okay now. But there are people with a lot worse stories. And I know my story shouldn't be dismissed, because that's my journey and that's what I've had to go through. But I'm also very grateful for what I have around me. I'm grateful for my husband. I'm grateful for his mum for teaching me how to make all of these beautiful products that we can now support our family with, and others as well. I'm grateful for my kids and the lessons that they teach me on a daily basis, whether it's just about life in general, or whether it's about patience, or when I see them helping set up at a market, or want to pack soap in a market box or something, you know, that makes me proud, and it keeps me going. It keeps me driving forward to achieve more, to reach more people, to do better, to be better. And I think that's what keeps me going. And if you don't have that driving force, you what are you here for?
What's the legacy that you want to leave behind, Deb?
It's all about the kids. It's all about them, and showing them that if you believe in yourself and if you try, you can do anything. But I also want them to know that mum always put them first, and that everything I always did was for them. whether it's, being able to put the business to the side for a few minutes and go and watch them do their cross country at school or their athletics, or just be at their assembly because they were getting an award. It's all about them. Every part of it, everything that we do is for them. Switching to the low tox is for them, because we are controlling what they're exposed to at the young age. So we have the responsibility to give them the best of everything, whether it's products or feed them the right foods and stuff like that. It's all about them.
If there was something that you could tell your younger self, what would it be?
Trust your gut. Listen to your intuition. Stop listening to the outside noise, letting the people's opinions impact on how I feel. I don't have to be a people pleaser all the time. And that's what I've been for a lot of my life, is always working around other people, and the stress and the overwhelm that creates, that I've got to focus on me and just cut out that outside noise. Everyone has their own journey, and accept and learn that if somebody else is affected or upset by something that I've done or I've said, but I've meant it in a loving way, if they get offended by that, then it's actually not my problem. That's something that perhaps has triggered them and that they need to work on, and that it's not my fault for other people's feelings. I think that would be probably the biggest thing, just cutting out that outside noise and just focusing on me and what I feel and what I believe and what I want to do, not what are other people going to say or think or do or react. Just, believing in myself and just really trusting my gut a lot more than what I have in the past.
So then would there be anything that you would tell all the women who are listening specifically, because this podcast obviously has a lot of women tuning in, but is there a piece of advice that you would want to share with them?
Just really, really trust when something's not right. Even when you go to the doctors, they're not, what they say is not gospel. You know your body better than anyone else. Trust what you feel. If something's not right, we're always very quick to do things for other people. When, our kids are sick, we don't hesitate to take them to the hospital if we think it's something that needs to, but for ourselves, we put it on the back burner. We kind of think, oh, I'll get to that because this needs to be done. Well, we need to stop doing that. We need to take better care of ourselves. And so much of the, self-care, that wasn't around, I don't feel, 20 years ago when we were in our 20s. That wasn't a priority. Self-care was not something that was spoken about so commonly between people, and the importance of it. It was almost like it was selfish. Oh, you're taking a day for yourself, or you're going to get a massage. Now it's all about going to do those water floats and the head massages and stuff like that. All the stuff that didn't know about 20 years ago. I think doing more self-care, taking better care of ourselves, even if it's scheduling a rest day once a month, or a lunch with a girlfriend. A friend of mine said one of the best things that she did in her business over the school holidays was step away from her business and go and have coffee with someone else to talk about things in a different way. Because when we just sit and we're constantly working, seeing our own problems, we're not getting that outside perspective and having those conversations. And sometimes that's so much more valuable than trying to problem solve ourselves.
I was saying earlier today to a friend of mine, we grew up in the doormat era. We just complete doormats, and then we just, we had to learn sass. And it's been a journey.
Yeah. Absolutely. I know.
Yeah. I would love to know. I mean, you've been through so many things. You've had to kind of rebirth in so many ways, discover who you are as a business owner, discover who you are as a woman, rewrite who that person is, and really confront some things, I anticipate. What is it that you love most about being a woman and the woman that you are today?
The power we have. I think we're not expected to just be mum, to stay home and do the traditional housewife thing, the cooking, cleaning, raising the kids. I think we've got more power now than ever before to be able to earn an income for our families, to have a voice and actually speak our truth and our mind. And that's something that I'm still learning to do. But having the power to be able to express ourselves, to share our vulnerability. It's not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength, and recognizing that and being able to do that to show my kids that it's possible. Believe in yourself. Not everything is going to come easy. Things take time, things take work, but being that leader for them, that inspiration, that's what I want to do for them. But being able to really learn to use my voice to share my story, to share my passion, to know that that's okay, and to bring other people joy as well, I think is really important. And it means so much to me to be able to do that, and for that people allow me to do that as well. So I think being a woman is incredible because we don't just have to fit in between those two lines anymore. We've got freedom to move, we've got freedom to express, and just being given that permission, giving ourselves that permission, I think is the most important thing, because we don't need it from other people. We need to give it to ourselves.
Yeah, I was about to say, because you're like, with being given permission. I'm like, no, no, no. You have given yourself
Yeah.
permission to be this woman in your life. And it is so inspiring. And in so many ways, there are women who are listening who have been on similar journeys, who've never been in your shoes. But equally, it's just such a great story. And I wanted to, really acknowledge you for that strength and that resilience, and to give yourself the permission that you have to be able to create what you're creating. So thank you, Deb.
Oh, thank you. That's really kind, and that means a lot, because I do this because I love it and because I genuinely care. I genuinely want people to be happy with what they have and what we've got. And when customers come back to me and they say, I'd never use another kind of soap bar before again, I love yours, or I'm obsessed with your skin therapy, stuff like that. It validates that what I'm doing is the right thing. And I've never been happier, because working for somebody else all those previous years, you're just slugging away. You're not doing what brings you joy. You're making them rich and happy, but it's not bringing me any joy. I'm doing this. It makes me happy, being able to look after other people as well. And that's just so powerful.
Deb, please tell the listeners where they can find you, how they can buy your products, and ways in which they can connect.
Absolutely. Well, we've got our social media pages, so you can find us on Instagram and Facebook with Lada Soaps and Scents, and you've got our website as well. So you can find us at www.ladasoapsandscents.com.au. We do have stockists around the country, but they're here and there everywhere. So sometimes they might be in your location, sometimes they may not. So you can jump on our website and have a look who our stockists are, and there might be somebody close to you. But otherwise, we ship Australia wide as well. So you can order direct from us as well.
If you are interested in connecting with Deb or purchasing any of the products from Lada, I will include in the episode description and across socials links and ways you can do that. So if you haven't already, head on over to Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, and Apple Podcasts, and follow the Skin I'm In podcast to be the first to know when new episodes drop. Thank you so much, Deb, for being a guest on the Skin I'm In podcast.
Thank you for having me. It's been really great having the chat and sharing what I do. Thank you, Chanel.
It's stories like Deb's that remind me just how powerful the universe really is, and how deeply guided we are, even when it doesn't feel that way. Every experience we face, even the bitter ones, holds the potential to shape us. Some of us are certainly handed lemons so sour that they burn going down, but still, we get to choose what we make of them. We get to turn pain into purpose, challenge into clarity, and hardship into a well of wisdom. There seems to be a theme in the advice that the women want to give that come on this show, and that is to trust yourself. Trust in who you are, trust in what you believe, and trust in the quiet knowing that lives in your bones. We're taught from a very young age to dismiss our intuition, to second guess it, and to wait for permission from someone or something outside of ourselves to do what our body and our spirit already knows is the right path for us. I've done this too so many times, and for years, I let other people's fears and fractured trust within themselves shape how I showed up in my own life. But once I let that go, once I stopped carrying what was never mine to hold, everything began to shift for me. So I want to leave you with this today. Where in your life have you been outsourcing your power? And what would happen if, just for today, you trusted yourself a little more deeply? Let this episode be your nudge to come home to your voice, your knowing, and your true path. With gratitude and grace, have a wonderful day.